Hello, everyone, and welcome back to GodSaw's Turnbuckle. This time, we are going to be doing something a little bit different here. Since I was lucky enough to go to AEW's Double or Nothing and actually be there live and in person, I figured I would talk about my experience being in the event live as it was. Now, for purposes of people wondering if this is going to be like a review of the entire show or something in that sense, it really isn't going to be, because I'll pretty much say what I felt about every match is that I pretty much enjoyed all of the matches on the show itself. You know, some of them I enjoyed a lot more than others, obviously. I mean, that's just based upon personal taste and everything. But overall, I felt the action from buy-in time all the way to the end of the show was actually really good. And obviously, we got to see some phenomenal matches to go along with it as well, including both Owen Hart finals for the men and the women were actually fantastic matches in my own personal opinion, and of course Anarchy in the arena to go along with it. We'll talk about that a little bit. If there's anything that I need to actually nitpick about being there live in general, one, this is the and this is not necessarily a nitpick, but one I found weird, because this time around they did pretty much the entire buy-in in terms of the talking segments and everything, more in the backstage area versus being in front of the crowd, which is what they normally do. Just for purposes of everything, they usually do a good chunk of it within the crowd. Now, obviously, you had the matches with Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford going up against Anna Jay and Harley Cameron, and then you had the 8-man tag to go along with it. Those were, of course, something that we were able to, experience live and everything. But the one thing I found really weird, because they did everything backstage, and even stuff that they would show maybe on the Titantrons, like interviews with Ricochet and a few other things, you didn't get any audio for it. And I found that a little bit weird. I don't know if that's really a nitpick or anything to go along with it, but I found it a little bit weird. Obviously, after the fact, you always had audio for anything that showed up on the screen, like when the main pay-per-view happened or anything to go along with that. Now, the only other thing that I would probably have a minor nitpick with in this particular case, and it's probably just based upon the number of people being there. I've been lucky enough to go to Dynamite twice now. I went to the one earlier this year, which was in the theater down in Phoenix, and then I was actually in there as in the Suns Arena one as well for the match. Well, that was basically where Darby and Sting won the tag titles. So I was lucky enough to be in both of those shows as well. Now, those crowds were much smaller, and it made sense that there was one merch stand. But when you got a larger crowd, like when you're getting towards that 8 to 10,000 area, I feel like you need to have a second merch stand in there, but they only had the one. And of course, they had the fake one that they made as well for Anarchy in the arena. That's a completely different story. But in terms of an official merch stand, they really only have one. Maybe it would have helped the line out with everything if they had more than one in there. I don't necessarily know. That's just my own personal opinion on it. Honestly, if I consider that a nitpick to begin with, then honestly, you could probably assume that I had a very good time at the show in general, which is the case. Like I said, I enjoyed the action from the buy-in matches all the way to the end of everything. Of course, everything went crazy during the Anarchy in the arena match when they started playing Bodies by Drowning Pool on there. You probably all saw it, for anybody who watched it on pay-per-view. Place went absolutely insane. I actually did enjoy the fact that they had to play two different songs before they got to that. The whole thing with the Young Bucks forefather like music, the old timey music, and then getting so excited as well, was kind of a nice little meta play on that. The other thing about this, and I kind of was shocked when I heard this after the show, was that the Anarchy in the Arena match was a 35-minute match. I could tell you this, in the arena, at least for me personally, I don't know about anybody else or anything to go along with it, but me personally, I don't think it didn't feel like it was a 35-minute match by any stretch of the imagination. That's probably just on the aspect of everything kind of flowing together. They did a really good job with the Anarchy in the Arena match. I like the whole aspect, as silly as it is to do the giant swing into a speaker and that killed the music. I at least like the fact that they come up with a reason for the music to stop playing to be throughout that match, and they've done that in the past with the other Anarchy in the Arena matches as well. So, honestly, very much enjoyable. Had to throw that out there that, it really didn't feel like it was a 35-minute match in the arena, at least on my own personal opinion. You probably do hear it a little bit, though. The one thing that especially that match did was killed my voice. And it's still recovering to this point as well. For all intents and purposes for it. Mercedes Moné, Jamie Hayter, great opening match. Absolutely love that one. The other thing for Anarchy in the Arena that I'll have to throw out there real quick is that I was shocked on how easy it was to follow in the arena itself. I felt like at home, because we all saw on the Titantron how they had 4 screens going at one time. Yeah, that helped a little bit, but also just following like spotlight to spotlight and crowd reaction to crowd reaction, you didn't feel like you were really missing too much of the match. So just had to throw that one out there real quick. I love the Hurt Syndicate stuff as well. The whole thing with MJF trying to introduce the diamond ring into there is like Bobby Lashley basically saying, it's like, no, we don't hurt people that way. We hurt people by just destroying them, type aspect. I liked seeing those little aspects of it in the arena as well. Also, for purposes of everything, you probably saw it on the actual show itself. A decent amount of people did get up, and I don't know if they necessarily left the show or anything like that, but they did get up after Anarchy in the Arena to kind of take a bit of a break. Me and my buddy who were there, we did stay in we pretty much stayed in the arena area watching everything for the entire show. But that 6-man tag with Paragon and the Don Callis family was pretty much a cool down match, and allowed for a lot of the crowd, especially me at that point, to recover my voice, a little bit of energy going into that main event, which was also absolutely phenomenal. Probably one of the best matches of the year was the Hangman Will Ospreay match. I enjoyed being there live in there to be able to see that one, because for all intents and purposes, I've been to a couple of Dynamites. I've been in everything in that sense. But this is the first time I got to watch Will Ospreay live and Kenny Omega live, for all intents and purposes. That's the first time I've gotten to watch a match with them live in there, and that's something that I've been wanting to do. So I kind of it's like, great, I got to go ahead and do that. Tony Storm, Mina Shirakawa was a fun one as well. It was overall really fun show. Like, outside the little nitpicks that I said at the beginning, which I can't even say that they're real complaints by any stretch of the imagination. Just overall, going to an AEW show, and honestly just going to a wrestling show in general, it's just so much fun. And I had a blast. I'll hopefully get to do it again at some point in time, whether it be AEW or any other particular wrestling shows. I don't necessarily know which one's going to be next, but for AEW's Double or Nothing, great experience live in the arena. Can't really complain about it. Absolutely great. Hopefully AEW decides to do another pay-per-view sometime down the road in the Phoenix, Arizona area in general. And if that does happen, I'm going to try to be there for that one as well. So with that being said, everybody, I hope you all take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your day.